Scott just made the point.
Jefferson used to be a lot more secure, not just in our... Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Green. I'm hosting a three-part week-long look at Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and who will control the Democratic Party after the next election. Now, in part two, we're going to look at who has come to Hillary's defense in the wake of Emailgate and how. In part three, we'll look at how the GOP might be able to take advantage of the donkey crisis. And today, part one is the week of the long knives. Let's bring on Bill Whittle and Scott Ott so I can explain what that means. Gentlemen, the Night of Long Knives happened in Germany shortly after Hitler's rise to chancellor. It was a purge of old, less radical elements of the Nazi Party to cement Hitler's place at the top of it. Now, somewhere between 85 and 200 people were killed. And in the wake of Emailgate, we're seeing kind of a kinder, gentler Night of the Long Knives playing out amongst the Democrats. It's been going on for a week now. Scott, when Barack Obama leaves office on January 20, 2017, not that I'm counting the days or anything, he'll still be a relatively young man with plenty of ambitions left, but I would say that having two President Clintons around would undo much of the work he's done to pull the party as far to the left as he has. Now, is it possible, do you think, that Obama would rather have President anybody but Hillary, even a Republican, and could that be why the White House has essentially hung Clinton out to dry on this email scandal?
Well, I think President Obama has a quandary here because you don't want the follow-up to your presidency to be a total meltdown and failure of your side of the aisle, you know. You hate to see that. I mean, it's bad enough that he had the midterm elections. On the other hand, the last thing in the world Barack Obama wants, and forget the Democratic Party, it's never been about Democratic Party for him, really. The last thing in the world Barack Obama wants is a president to come in after him in his own party to be more effective than he was. And that's a very low bar. So pretty much anybody the Democrats nominate, if that person manages to get elected, they're going to have a better record, a better legacy than Barack Obama would. So he's in a real bind here. But when Barack Obama has that kind of a moral quandary, of course, he defaults to whatever it is that he thinks will make him look good in the moment. And at this time, making Hillary Clinton look bad certainly raises his stock in the eyes of most Democrats.
Well, maybe you say it's easy to clear that low bar, but we'll get to Martin O'Malley in the next segment. Now, it was Emailgate that lit the fuse under this powder keg. So let's take a quick look at how the scandal is playing on the pages of the nation's two leading liberal newspapers, the New York Times and the Washington Post. We'll get into some of the specifics in part two, but these papers have lined up like the blue and the gray on opposite sides of this civil war. Now, the Washington Post is it's the voice of official Washington, which has as many Obama worshipers, I guess, as anywhere else. But they never made friends with this White House, not official Washington. And surprise, the Post has been much gentler in how it reports the Hillary Clinton scandal, and its liberal columnists have all come out in Hillary's defense. Now, outside the Beltway, the much more progressive New York Times has been just brutal to Hillary. Maureen Dowd wrote an open letter to Hillary on Sunday in which he said, "Instead of raising us up by behaving like exemplarily sterling people, you bring us down to your own level, a place of blurred lines and fungible ethics and sleazy associates." Ouch. Bill, this entire trifecta triple came from an offhand comment I made on Scott's segment last week that this scandal was about the future control of the Democratic Party. But all is proceeding exactly as I have foreseen, isn't it?
I like the sound of that. Boy, there's so much to say here. You know, I kind of want to start by saying, you know, that you can't cheat an honest man, right? That old saying that you can't cheat an honest man. An honest person cannot really fully imagine the machinations that are going on behind the scenes here. It's just simply too incredibly to be believed until somebody brings it up and you go, you know, I never thought of that. It's entirely possible that Barack Obama not only doesn't want Hillary to win, he may not want any Democrat to win. He may want, the idea of being followed by a Democrat who is more successful than him is probably intolerable to him. And let's face facts, anybody's going to be more successful than him, anybody. So there's that whole thing. You mentioned in the introduction the Night of the Long Knives. That was when Adolf Hitler and the Nazi leadership had to rid themselves of the SA, the brown shirts who had gotten them the street power. And they went through and killed a bunch of people. And the leader of the SA was Ernst Röhm. And when Ernst Röhm was finally shot, the last words out of his lips were "Heil Hitler." I don't get the impression that the last words out of Hillary Clinton's lips are going to be "I love you, Barack Obama." And that's what I find actually most intriguing about this. Because I don't think these two people like each other very much, and I don't think the camps like each other very much either. The only reason we're getting legs on this Hillary story is because, hard to imagine though it may be, there is a position to the left of Hillary Clinton, and that position doesn't like her. So it is, in fact, I think you got it exactly right, Steve. It's a civil war. Here's what I actually find so beautiful about all this. If it gets to the point where Obama has actually, it can be proven at least to the Clintons that Obama or Obama people leaked this information about the emails, then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where Hillary Clinton has actually lost the nomination. I don't suspect she's going to go quietly into the good night. I think she and Billy have a bunch of neat stuff to say about President B. And then you get to watch like this thermonuclear war between Russia and China, and it's just, man, if there were just grandstands big enough and enough popcorn, I'd be out there all day and all night. It'd be like the World Series and the biggest fireworks display and Christmas all rolled into one. And I just actually really hope for it, because it's the only scenario that I have ever seen on the board since this guy was president that seems like might just actually have a possibility, only because they're both such narcissists, they're both left-wingers.
No,
and
not at all. You know, it's like what Kissinger said about the Iran-Iraq war 25, 30 years ago. He said, "'Tis a shame they can't both lose." Oh, well. You know, folks, before you get too excited about this brother against sister warfare on the left, I want you to think it through just one step further. If the Democrats are fighting like this already, even at the potential cost of the White House in 2016, ask yourself why. Why would they feel safe doing that? Well, it might be because they're pretty sure that at the national level, Republicans and conservatives are no threat to them or to their far left-wing policies, that they can afford to lose the White House for 4 years, for 8 years, and when a Democrat inhabits it once again, everything will be pretty much exactly how Obama left it. And it saddens me to say this to you, but there's a good chance that they're absolutely right. That's why we got to push for the next president. For Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, I'm Steve Green.